All right, guys, welcome back. We got another great book club. I got Miles, the master of all mortgages, aka Smiley. He is coming to us from Kansas today. Miles, where in Kansas are you, my friend? And is there a woman by the name of Dorothy with a little dog with red shoes anywhere near you?
No, there isn't. I'm actually right outside of Kansas City. And I didn't realize this, which is going to make me sound stupid. I didn't know there were two parts: Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas.
I didn't
So
know
the
that.
city is split in two, and I am on the Kansas side right now. It's like a suburb, kind of like where we're at, a suburb of San Francisco.
Mhm.
Oakland is Walnut Creek, same sort of thing. I'm in a little town called Overland Park, and I, being from the coast, I think everyone in the middle is ranching cows. I have no idea, but it is really really cool out here, and the people are super friendly. So
You know what? When I asked where you were and you said Kansas, I'm like, what the hell are you doing in Kansas? And you told me what you're doing out there. And I'm like, how is it? You're like, it's actually really cool. I'm like, oh, that's not the answer I was supposed to get or thought I was going to get. But that shows how narrow-minded we are. And we need to open up our horizons.
exactly. You know what? I had barbecue for lunch. I'm having barbecue for dinner. So
and knowing you for about 2+ years at this point, I know you like barbecue.
I love barbecue. It's fantastic.
Dude, I just went up to Jackie and I were my girl, and we went up to Healdsburg to do some wine tasting on Sunday. And this restaurant, this 3-star Michelin restaurant we were supposed to go to called Thin Thread or Single Thread, they were shut down. Thank you very much. Fuck you, COVID. So we went to this barbecue place, and dude, for what we paid, for what we got, not bad at all. I enjoyed it.
That sounds like a good getaway. I think we all need that.
We did, 24 hours, of just out just drinking good wine and having fun. But let's dig in. We guys, if you guys have not been following the book club, what we're doing is we're reading the book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. We are looking at chapter 7 today. And chapter 7 is going to be entitled Give Them a Plan. Miles, yeah, go ahead.
So the chapter 4 was Meets a Guide.
Right.
And one of the things that I don't know if I struggle with the book, but I always am like, okay, we're building a story, but essentially the story is putting this into marketing.
Yeah.
And how are you advertising?
Mm-hmm.
So that's always where I'm like, how can a single sentence or two make such a difference with all these 7 or 8 steps that we're going through in the process? So the process before this was Meets a Guide.
Yeah.
And like in every story, you're meeting a guide. Every single movie, we've kind of gone over that. And this one is a guide essentially gives them a plan. Mm-hmm. Although I'm still confused on what the plan is. I think that he gives them a plan. So I don't know if you want to start on what you kind of got.
Sure. What I kind of got out of this, a lot of it was the fact that as whatever industry you're in, probably in real estate or mortgage, if you're watching this, if you're not, it works for every other business. But, we usually present ourselves as the hero, which is the wrong place. We need the client is the hero. We are the guide. We're showing them through. We are the experts. We've done this before. We know how to get them through this process. The hero is the person who is like the babe in the woods. They want to fight bad. They want to get through this. They want to achieve some sort of goal, but they don't know what to do. So they look to us as the guide. Now, that's only part of the whole process. Once you identify yourself as the guide, your clients are the hero. Now, in chapter 7, you have to set out a plan. And when I first heard this, I was just like, set out a plan? What are you talking about, setting out a plan? And one of the first plans that they actually identified is the process plan. And essentially, think about this. Think about your clients. And when it blew my mind on how bad I've been doing this. And as you guys know, I'm an open book. I tell it how it is. I'm just a guy with a microphone. Okay. I do real estate. I put my pants on one leg at a time and have good days and bad days. And I realized, because I'm taking my ego out of this as much as humanly possible. I know Miles does the exact same thing. We're very much transparent and open books about this. We've really fucked up. When I say we, I mean me. And not Miles. Miles doesn't screw up. He's a gem of a creature, and one of the best lenders on earth. But when it comes down to getting the client there, think about it, that they're standing at the edge of a river, and they can hear a waterfall down the way, and their thought pattern goes, well, if I take this buy this product, engage this realtor, engage this lender, whatever the thing is, what's going to happen? They're hovering over that buy now button. They're just hovering over that, signature, the DocuSign to press their signature to sign that listing agreement. But they're like, as I have a helicopter flying overhead. Thank you very much. Middle of podcasting, you fucktards. But you know what? They say, okay, am I going to die if I buy this product or I buy this service? Because they don't know which way to go. Because none of them know what's going to happen next. So what the most critical thing in a process plan is, well, it's setting up a process. So think about this. So think about dropping big rocks in the river so that they can easily and without effort walk across this process to the Holy Land, right? To get to where they want to be. So Miles, if you were going to set up a process plan for one of your, lenders or lenders for one of your borrowers, and again, when I say process plan, it basically just says, okay, what are the next steps? And they also say when you do a process plan, and the next one is called a post-process plan, they want to have a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 6, right? Because you got to keep people engaged. You can't make it too complicated. It's the KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. That's it. Don't overanalyze shit. So give me the 3 to 6, processes that you would tell your borrowers now that this is what's going to happen next.
Okay, I'll give you 3 to 6. I just want to make a clarification. I think I partially do it. I call it something different. Every time I talk to someone, I say, here's what you can expect, or what are your expectations for kind of next steps. So for me, if I was pre-approving someone, I would tell them what the steps are. Hey, we're having this initial consultation. We're having a talk. I want to know who you are, what you're looking for, how long you want to be there. If this is your first house, second house, third house, investment house, whatever it is. And then the next one, I tell them, I'm going to send you an email with all the paperwork. We're going to collect everything besides blood. I mean, that's how crazy lending is. And then after I get all that, I'm going to analyze what they told me and what loan options are available. And then we're going to get together and do one consultation. And that consultation will go through loan programs, we'll go through closing costs, we'll go through monthly payments. And then at that point, we'll give them a pre-approval. And once they have that, they can go out and look for houses. So I think for me, those are my steps into if I have someone who's looking to buy a house. That's what I set up every single time without question. I never really thought about it as a process. I'm just like, here are the expectations for when we can how to get this done.
And that's critically important. I do it a lot as well, but I don't do it out in front of people. So once they're in my web, then I say, okay, this is how it's going to work, right? But when you're doing marketing, we're doing flyers, when you're doing what social media, have you ever said, hey guys, you're thinking about buying a home, this is what you're going to expect. First, we're going to have you speak with a lender because the lender is going to identify exactly what you're going to be able to afford comfortably on a monthly basis and the price point and the location that you're going to want to live in. Second off, once we get approved, we're going to go out and we're going to start looking at homes. Once we find a home, we're then going to make an offer. Now, what's entailed in an offer? This is what's going to take place. Bop, 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 bop. Once we get accepted, this is what's going to take place from there. If you guys want to learn more, fill in the information below and let's get the house hunting, started. Something that's crude and basic, but it's also very efficient and effective because you're telling them what to expect. And
I was going to say, I have never done anything on social media like that. So I have been doing quite a bit wrong, as you kind of mentioned. I think we all have.
I've never done it either. I mean, that's why reading this book is such a powerful thing, because we can get in there and we can analyze our businesses and really understand where we've been falling down. Now, does it mean if we fall down, we can't get up? Absolutely not. It just means we identified an issue that we can, fix. And fixing something is better than sticking your head down in the sand, because if you just consistently do things the same way every single month, every single day, every single year, you're going to get the exact same results. That's the definition of being a moron. And I don't want to be a moron anymore.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I try to take is I try to implement at least 2 different, possibly 3 different changes a year. When normally we're probably taking in 100 or 1,000 new pieces of information of what we could do differently in our businesses each year, but they're impossible to implement all at once.
Mhm.
It's like you have to only do a certain amount of time, otherwise you're not going to do any of them.
You
So I think for me, that's that's
you
probably something I need to do.
you bring up a good point. There was a guy, his name was Howard Britton. He's an OG of real estate coaches and trainers. He unfortunately has passed away a number of years ago due to cancer. But what he would do, he was absolutely genius. And I want you guys to take this and put this into your business as well. Miles, you might find this helpful. Is what you do is every day when we go to conference, we'd get a sheet that would have all these different sessions, and then you put down 3 or 4 things per session, what you want to do. Then you'd have another sheet at the end of each day. You would take 4 things that you want to implement out of the entire day, right? You write those 4 things down. You write, who needs to be a part of it, time frames, and what you need to make it happen. Now, at the end of the 3-day event, then he gives you another sheet of 4 things. And those 4 things are the only 4 things you're going to put into your business that year, 1 per quarter. So you don't go snowblind and try to go crazy town in regards to what's out there, but you set up the process. Then you lay out the bricks or the boulders in the water and let people come to you, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you, because again, I couldn't follow anything in the chapter. Once you lay out the bricks, you find the process for them to buy into you or your business or whatever you're selling. Then what?
So then you go into your post-purchase process plan. Best way to really describe it is basically it sums up the problems of what your clients are imagining of how and what they're going to use your product or service with after they buy it. So I've had a lot of people, when I've worked with them in real estate, they'll say, okay, well, what's the next steps? And when I hear, okay, what's the next steps? It means that I didn't explain it well, in the first place. So the post process would be something like if you bought a cabinet. So the process plan for buying a cabinet for your garage would be, okay, go measure your garage space. Okay, this is the part you're going to need to buy. Post process say, oh, congratulations, you bought our product. This is what you're going to need to do. Here are the tools. Here are the steps. Here's the time frame it's going to be. Here's a manual. They lay it out on how you're going to do it. By the way, if you have any problems, here's a one here on our customer service line. We're here to help you. The post-process plan is actually one of my favorites because they've already committed to you. They put cold hard cash down. They've signed a listing agreement. They sent you, financial information as a lender. They're engaged at this point. And now it's just being able to say, next steps. This is what to expect. This is what you need to do. This is what I'm going to do. Here's our timelines and the story.
I think for me, that's probably the most important thing that I'm trying to do right now without actually thinking about it. Lending is so impacted right now with all the refis that are coming in. Our purchase market's pretty good right now. I'm literally telling clients at this point, especially for refis, I'm like, it's going to take minimum 45 days, probably longer. It's going to take 45 to 60 days. It's going to be a lot of days where we're not doing anything. And you're thinking, nothing, like, is this guy even working? And I promise you we're doing stuff, but it's just taking a lot of time. And I told someone today, which is kind of an expectation that he should have. I'm like, listen, dude, you're not going to hear from me for a week. But when you hear from me, I'm going to need that documentation that day. So it sucks. But everything I ask you for, you got to respond right away. The other way around, it's not going to be so fast.
Well, and that's the other part. I mean, I know with the lenders after doing this. By the way, did you know, Miles? I checked with Thank You LinkedIn. I have been doing real estate for just under 21 years. I did not know that.
Greg, you don't look that old.
Thank you, buddy. Even with all my gray hair right here, my knowledge chin.
Still, you do not look that old.
Good. I will take that as a compliment. Working out and drinking water and vodka does help the skin. But God damn it, you made me miss trick. No, I don't have a train of thought.
Well, I was going into lenders just taking forever and.
Oh, yes. It also comes down to you explaining to your clients exactly how you need what from them, right? Whatever you need from them. I've heard horror stories all the time. You've experienced like, okay, hey, I need to see blah document. And then they don't, and you're like, I need to see the entire document. Even the documents, they don't even have any writing, part of the document, they don't have any writing on it. Send everything to me. And then these dipshits get out their phone and like, click, take a photo of it, miss half the stuff, and they don't send you everything. You're like, no, I need the whole document. And that's where it comes into process, right? This is how it's going to work. Post-process, this is what to expect. This is what I need from you, laid out crystal clear. And it might even be helpful in our industries to put out videos. Make a couple of videos on YouTube, make them public. People don't know this, guys. Look, if you, in the profession that you're in, you live and breathe it every day. It's normal to you, right? It's not normal to everybody else. I can tell you that right now. Buying a car, not normal. Scares the shit out of me. That contract's literally 6 feet long. I don't know what the fuck I'm signing half the time. But you know what? It's normal to them. They check boxes and they're doing this and doing that and blah, 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 or whatever else. And I'm lost. So make sure you lay it out, right? They have to know to send everything and give them examples. It's so simple, but yet none of us think about it. I didn't think about it for the longest period of time, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm with you. I would say, especially right now during the coronavirus and everything, it's just everything seems harder. Everything.
It does, but I mean, it's also what is up is really down. What is down is really up. You can change your mindset on all of this stuff, right? So I had a listing. We had to take it off because the tenants in there were being very problematic, and we did not want to get sued. But the one thing that we did when I got the property listed is I made it crystal clear on what to expect. Now that leads us into our third agreement. This is what's it called? The agreement? No, the agreement plan. The agreement plan. The agreement plan is telling people exactly what you agree to do and what they agree to do in return. So when we took this property, under contract, I said, this is what I'm agreeing. This is my agreement to you. We are going to provide surgical gloves, surgical booties. We're going to provide sanitizer, hand sanitizer, wipe downs. They have to view all documents. There has to be a pre-approval letter prior to anyone coming into the home, know they can afford it. Maximum of 3 people with a maximum of 20 minutes in the property. That's my agreement to you. And I will agree also to take responsibility financially to pay for all the photos, the drone flyovers, and do social media. And I'm also going to agree to you that I'm going to build a Facebook business page where I'm going to upload and put all of the photos, all of the videos. I'm going to do interviews with neighbors. I'm going to do interviews, articles about local stuff. Like it was in Round Hill Country Club, which is a country club near us. I'm going to do articles about the country club, articles about the city of Alamo or the town of Alamo. And I'm going to make this a living business card so that people won't have to come into your home unless they're fully vetted, fully qualified, and they're going to do a full, virtual showing before they even step foot in the home. That's my agreement to you. And we locked down the listing right there because my agreements were strong. And I said, I will let you out, no cost, no strings attached if anything comes up. When it came up, the homeowner said, I'm uncomfortable. I said, I am too. I think we should cancel the listing. We'll revisit it when the tenant leaves. She's like, excellent. We canceled it within 10 minutes. And she's an ecstatic woman because I honored my agreements to her. That's the power of an agreement plan. You set up exactly what you're going to do for them, how it's going to happen, what for them to expect, and then you honor that agreement plan.
I think the agreement plan is all well and dandy, and it's super important. But I think what I need to make sure I understand, and even people listening, is you have to do the research to make sure you know what people are going to ask and what expectations they have, so that way you can kind of filter what you're saying. So I think what you said sounded not only confident, but it sounded strong, and that you know what you're going to do, what you're doing, and you can deal with anything that might come up. I think it sounded great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No worries.
And the last thing we need to do in this chapter, guys, is that you need to give it a title. And so, like, we launched a plan last summer that we called it our VIP client plan. And what it is that we would front up to $10,000 to people out of our own cold hard cash. Now we're going to put a lien on the property and we're going to protect our investment. But we said, hey, look, we're going to invest $10,000 of our own money. We're going to run all the communications, all the subs, all the contractors, everything you need. We're going to get your home in tip-top shape, and we're going to get it so you can make that top dollar. Now there's obviously the asterisk next to that going, you have to have equity in your home of a certain amount. You agree to pay us back because we're going to put a lien on the property, and then just get out of our way and let us do our thing. A client of ours last summer, they made an extra, I think, $200,000 or $300,000 on us putting $10,000 in, and it made the difference of them jumping into a new property. So, it's really, you have to name it, title it, give it a life, give it a, let it become something. Like, any of you guys know me, I do beers and calls. I made that up. I wanted to have a beer at 4:30. Don't judge me, fuckers. But you know what? And I had to do my cold call. So it's beers and calls. It's a brand. It's not cold calling with Greg. There's a title to it, right? So, Miles,
I think I have never come up with that, because sometimes I hear that, I'm like, this is so stupid. This is made up, or it's so basic. But after reading this, you kind of understand the reasoning why, and how it doesn't matter if it sounds stupid. It doesn't matter if it's totally obvious. It just needs something, because that grabs people's attention.
it could be first-time home buyers, checklist. You and I did a seller, you and I and Tiffany, about a year and a half, year and a half? I think it's about a little over a year. Did a seller's seminar, because I came to the realization that a lot of these sellers haven't sold in 5, 7, 12, 30 years. They really don't know what the process is. And we just called it a seller seminar. It's very obvious what it is, but we put a title to it instead of like, hey, come and join us. We're going to talk about real estate tonight. Okay. That could be anything, right? It's specific. We found a niche. We executed. We delivered. And we met some very interesting folks.
Yeah. I think, I think the titling is super important. And if it's something special that you do or something different, then it absolutely has to have a title, because it's going to be unique. Maybe something no one else has, and it needs a name.
Yeah. I mean, like our team, I came up with this in like 10 years ago or something like that. I was listening to someone talk, and I'm like, this would be interesting to fill this gap. And we brought out a service. We can't do it now, obviously, but it was called Dump Your Junk and Spring Clean. Well, Spring Cleaning and Dump Your Junk. And so what we did is we hired Got Junk. They donated 3 or 4 trucks to us. We went down and got an electronic, dumpster. We went out, and then we got files like sensitive material. A shredding truck was on site, and then we brought a battered women's shelter in, and people had to donate something to the battered women's shelter that they could then go sell and help these women and children. Then they could dump their trash, their old electronics, and documents into these different bins, and people, we just call it spring cleaning, dump your junk. And people showed up all over the place, dude. I coordinated. We got music going. We had videographers show up. It was covered in different area newscasts, but it was all just because we're trying to give back. But it had a name, right?
Yep.
So we titled it.
That sounds super cool. Well,
it was a lot of fun.
Before we get out of here, I did want to go over what we're covering next week.
Yes, please.
So next week, I'm kind of excited, especially, just reading the title. It says basically calls them to action. So I'm assuming at this point, we're really going to maybe frame how we're going to send our message.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be really pretty cool. And again, a call to action is something so simple. I think it's going to be awesome.
I think that's what it is, but who knows?
It is. And a lot of the times, guys, the client is not a mind reader. They don't know what you want them to do unless you do a direct call to action. Like Miles, I just launched a campaign out to 18,000 local residents who are not on the do not call list. And we're going to be sending them cold text messages. So to 18,000 people we're launching, and we're going to be sending them out a free pizza opportunity down at Primo's Pizza in downtown Danville. So if you buy one pizza, you get an equal or lesser value pizza for free if you use the code, McDaniel44. And you know what? When we did that, we called them to action in the video. I said, hey guys, this is what I'm going to give you. This is the owner, Drew. This is what you need to do. Fill in the information below. And I'll text you and email the code. Once you do that, use the code and they'll give you a free pizza. So that's the call to action. You would be surprised how many people I was getting lead after lead after lead after lead of people who are taking advantage of that. Now, why am I doing that? Because I'm going to put them into a drip system, and I'm going to give them information weekly with videos. 2 are going to be value offer ads. 2 are going to be informational. So I'm going to be consistently touching these folks. But I told them what to do. They agreed voluntarily to come in and do it. Voila. We are rocking and rolling.
That is pretty cool. You probably should have saved that story for next week, but hey,
Hey,
we'll
they
come
get
up with it.
to do it again tomorrow, next week then.
That's true. That's fantastic.
Okay, Miles, where can people get a hold of you?
The numbers below 925-900-8013. I am a lender. Most of the stuff that I'm seeing right now is refinances. I just got a text message today without doing too much of a shameless plug. I got a text message and an email from a lender that we use saying they can do a 15-year at 1.875% interest rate.
What?
I know. I need to do more research, but that's how low rates are starting to trend. I'm assuming that's paying points, but it's crazy right now. So if you know anyone who's looking to refi, that would be a good referral for me.
There's his number, guys. I've been using Miles. He was a co-host of mine on our radio show, Real Estate Radio Talk on KGO when we had it. Then those dickheads decided to jack us on the rates, which damn, that was expensive, and I'm still paying that debt off. Still paying that damn debt off. So call Miles at 925-900-8013. Guys, also call me if you have any questions, thoughts, theories, or concerns, or friend me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Best number for me is 925-915-1978. So, Miles, thank you for attending from Kansas, middle of the great country of America. And guys, we'll come back next week, same time, same place, and we're going to bring you chapter number 8. Until then, guys, boom. Peace.
Have a good
We
week.
out.